Hello YouTube. So it's been a while since I made my last video of Red Hat Kickstart setup. Well, that was my very first video on YouTube when I just started practicing Red Hat. I made that video purposely not to show off like I know something, but to be able to show people who have been struggling to set up Red Hat Kickstart. Okay. Um, in today's video, and I'm actually thinking of doing the Red Hat repository setup, and that's exactly what we are going to do. We are going to set up a Red Hat repository. And I'm assuming if you are watching this video, that means you know what a Red Hat repository is, but you probably don't know how to create it. Or maybe you know how to create it, but it might not be as detailed as mine explanation, or yours is more detailed than mine. Whatever. I mean, we are all here to learn. So if you are watching, I'm assuming you are trying to know exactly how to set up the Red Hat repository. Okay. Couple of things here. I had a request from Cigar Davil. He actually asked me to make a video on Red Hat 7 Kickstart setup. Watch out for that. I will be doing this, or I will be doing that this weekend. So if you are interested in that, also follow me. Don't forget to subscribe and leave me comments. That way, whenever I made a new video, you'll be notified right away. Okay, and from now on, I will be adding videos at least once a week. I will be adding new videos. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started for why we are here. Okay, we are going to set up Red Hat Kickstart. Sorry, probably because that's what I know. Okay, but we are going to set up a Red Hat repository. Okay, so how do we set up a Red Hat repository? So I am currently using my VirtualBox, Oracle VirtualBox. So I will bring this up. What we are trying to do here is to attach the Red Hat image. Okay, you can either upload or insert your DVD, Red Hat DVD, into your cdrom, or simply browse to where your Red Hat image is, so that we'll be able to mount this Red Hat image in our operating system and go into the packages directory and copy all the packages and send it to either FTP or HTTP directory, so that we can set up a repository based on those packages that we have in those directories. And I'm assuming all of us know that Red Hat has their packages already included either in their ISO image or on a CD. Okay, those packages are in the packages directory. So too much talk, so let's get into the game. So I am going to click here and I'll go to settings. What basically I'm trying to accomplish here is to attach the Red Hat image so that we can download the packages from it. So the next thing, I will go to storage and I will go to empty. That's basically a cdrom, and I'll come here to the right hand side and click that CD icon and say choose a virtual CD/DVD disk file. And the next thing I have to do here is to browse to where my Red Hat image is. So in this case, mine is in the folder called Views Download, and I will click on RHEL Server 6.5 ISO. The next thing, I will click OK. Now, I will need to connect via PuTTY to this server. So I will open my PuTTY. So that screen is not big enough. I will use something else here. Great, now I'm in the server. The next thing I am going to do here is to mount the Red Hat image. by default, when you attach a CD or the ISO image to a server or to a virtual machine, it will automatically mount the image for you. Therefore, if I do df-h, I should see that my image was mounted. Well, in this case, it's not there. If it's not there, this is how you can mount the Red Hat image. Use the command mount -o and loop. This is optional, by the way. You really don't need to do the -o loop. And I will specify where the CD is. In this case, it's in the cdrom. And I'm going to mount it to temp. And as you can see, nothing was returned. But however, if we do ls of temp, we see that our image was mounted. Great. The next thing here we have to do is to install the protocol, well, the package that provides the protocol which we'll be using. So in our demonstration, we'll be using FTP. So our repository will be on an FTP default directory or an FTP server. So what I need to do is to make sure the FTP package is installed. So before we go any further, let's run rpm-q vsftpd. This will query and see whether vsftpd is installed. And if we press enter, it says that package is not installed. But how can we install this package when we have no yum, neither another repository which we can use to install this package? Well, this is the main purpose why we mounted the ISO image first before doing anything else, so that we can use RPM and install the necessary files or packages which we may need to continue our demonstration. So for this, I'll have to do rpm-ivh. I means install, v means verbose, h means hash, and I will go to where I mounted the image. So mine is in temp, and I will go to the packages directory and I will type vsftpd and tab, and I will install that. That will install the vsftpd package. And now if I recall the rpm-q, and it says now my package is installed. The next thing here you have to do is to start the service and put it on check config. Check config so that when the server comes on, that service is automatically started. So check config vsftpd on will make sure when the computer is started and when the services are loading, it will make sure that vsftp loads on both run level 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now the next thing here we have to do, since we have installed the service, we have started vsftpd, we know the default directory for FTP is var ftp pol, right? So if we do ls of that directory, currently there is nothing inside. So let's go ahead and create a directory called repo that will contain all our packages. The next thing we have to do is to copy the packages from our mount point of the ISO image to the repo directory. By the way, see, packages is uppercase P. If you type lowercase p, you won't get it. So what I'm basically doing here is to copy everything from the packages directory, including hidden file, that's what the dot stands for, and send it to vsftpd repo. So this is the package that contains all the packages, or this is the directory that contains all the packages of Red Hat. So if I press enter on this, it's going to take a couple minutes. It will take a while, so I will just send it to the background. For you, you may not want to do this, but for me, because I have to do other things, so I will just send it to the background, and that will copy all of the packages in the packages directory to var ftp pub. Now, while the package is being copied, the next thing we have to install is the createrepo command. The createrepo command, when run, it will create a directory called repo data. And this repo data is what the yum command will consult when it tries to install something. Okay, so let's go ahead and install the createrepo command. Well, before installing the createrepo command, make sure you install the necessary dependencies. There are two dependencies to the createrepo command or the createrepo package. One of which is delta RPM. The second one is Python delta RPM. So Python or delta RPM must be installed before Python delta RPM, then before you can install the create repo package. Do you understand? So let's go ahead and run the rpm-ivh, and we are still going to go to temp packages, and we are going to install. So yeah, what happens if we try to install just the createrepo command? It's going to tell us that this package is needed by createrepo, and when you try to install this package, it's going to tell you that this will tell us that we have to install delta RPM first before we can install that package. So let's do it the right way. Let's do rpm-ivh and give it the mount point and packages, and here let's install the delta RPM package. The next thing we have to install here is the Python delta RPM. Last but not the least is the createrepo command itself, or the createrepo package itself. So once that is finished, we should have the createrepo command now and ready to be used. Great. So let me do jobs and see whether my job is still going. So currently I have no jobs, meaning my transfer to the repo directory is complete. Now let's verify that. So let's pipe it to WC so that I know exactly whether all the packages were copied. 3764, that's absolutely correct. Means everything is actually copied to the repo directory. Now the next thing here we have to do is to run the createrepo command, so that the createrepo command will create a directory for us by the name repo data. The repo data is what yum consults when yum try to install anything, or it will look for a file in that createrepo repo data command package or directory. So let's go ahead and run the createrepo command. -v means verbose, but since I'll be sending this to the background, I won't do the -v. So instead, I'll just tell createrepo to create a directory in var. In repo. Repo is where the packages are. So therefore, I am going to create the repo data in there. Well, this is optional. You really don't need to create a directory in the directory where the packages are. But just for simplicity's sake, let's do it this way. And I'll put an ampersand so that I get my prompt back and do something else. So the createrepo command will create the necessary database and necessary tar files so that our repo data will work. Now, let's go ahead and configure our definition file while the createrepo command is doing its thing. So let's do vim. We know for sure the default directory for repo is etc yomrepos.v. So etc yomrepos.v is where you define your repository. So a repository definition file must always end with .repo. So I could call my local.repo and press enter. Here, the first thing you have to do here is to press I to put you in insert mode. The next thing is the square bracket, which holds or which identifies the ID of this repository. So my ID, I can simply call this local repo. Make sure you close it with another square bracket at the end. The next thing is the name of the repo. The name can be anything of your choice, likewise the ID. So I'll call this repository packages. Next thing is the base URL. The base URL is what points to where your packages are. So since this repository is locally on this machine, I will go ahead and use, the reason why I'm getting this is because I sent it to the background. So I will go ahead and use a file. You use file when you have a repository locally on the machine. So it's a file followed by a colon and 3 slashes, and you specify the absolute path to where your repo data directory is. So in my case, it's in vsftpd repo. So wherever your repo data directory is where you have to stop. Next thing here is whether this repository is enabled. When you have equal to 1, that means this repository is enabled. So enabled equals 1 means it's on. If it's equals 0, that means this definition file is off. The next thing is GPG, whether you want to check the integrity of the packages. I will say no just for now. And this is all you need to put in the definition file. After that, you can write and quit the file. So I will do jobs again. Job says I have nothing running. So therefore, if I do ls of ftppub and grep for repo data, now we have a package by the name repo data in repos directory. That is the main file in order for a repository to work. Now, that is all there is to a repo. So let's do yum clean all to clean our cache. And next thing here, let's do yum repo list This will list all our repository that are currently defined on this machine. So as you can see, the repo is working. It's telling me that I have 3,763 packages, and the ID of my repo, as you saw when I defined it in the definition file, local repo, and the name is local repository for packages. Now, let's try to install a package and see whether that works. So I'll go ahead and do yum install RHEL, which is Apache. Next thing, press Y to say yes, you accept. So you see our repository is working. Now, how do you connect another server to this repo server? All it takes is opening the port. Depending on the protocol which you are using, you open the ports. For example, FTP is 21. So you open the port via firewall and then go to the client server, create a definition file. But in the definition file now, you have to tell it the protocol which the repository is set up on. In our case, it's FTP. So in the base URL line of the client server, you have to put FTP equals, right? Well, its base URL equals FTP : //2/, then the IP address of the repository server /pub/repo. So this is basically what it takes to create a repository. If you want to define a key so that every package is checked against that key, you could import the key. All it takes is basically typing rpm -- import. Then you tell it where the key is. So since our image is still mounted, the image is always on the key. So therefore, I'll go inside temp. Then in there, if I tab and look for RPM Red Hat release, that's basically the key. Sorry, well, that's not what I meant. RPM -- import. Then you tell it where the key is. And this will import the key to var to etc pki gpg-rpm is a very long part, I can't remember. So let's go ahead and copy exactly that URL and enable checking of the key. So it's in etc pki gpg, well, rpm gpg, then uppercase R Red Hat release. So let's copy this line and vim back into etc, well, vim into etc yum repos the local. And now, since GPG check says 0, let's enable it by 1. So since we have enabled it, we must add an additional line, which is GPG key. Now we have to give it the path to the key. So because the key is locally on this machine, this will work. So that is all there is to a repository. There is a faster way of creating a repository, which I will be making a video of. So watch out for the next video. Please like or comment. If there is anything you don't like about the video, feel free to say it. It's fine. If you have any question, leave your comments below and I will surely respond to your questions. I hope you enjoy the video and have a good day.